Hi everyone! So I wanted to do a quick video on cleansing to set a sacred space, just to make sure that everybody who may be watching my next videos is sort of on the same page when I say, cleanse your space before you start. There are really three primary ways to do this. One is with air, one is with water, the other is energetically. Now, the beauty of using energetic clearings rather than something that requires materials is that it's free. As long as you're able to sit and have a few moments to visualize and, center yourself the way that you need to, you can cleanse your space. Now, the technique that I use, I've mushed from two sources. First is Bonnie Cummings. She's a hypnotherapist and Reiki teacher who had taught me this. And then the other is actually, I sort of adapted from the Ask A Hag podcast. It's ask.a.hag. You can find it everywhere. And they call it the Iron Man technique. The way I do this, which really you could adapt to whatever works best for you, is I pull earth energy through my feet and cosmic energy through my head, and I mix those two energies in my body. And then once I feel as though I have a good grasp on those energies and I feel filled with those energies and they're really commingled, I visualize the energy coming out my hands, like Iron Man when he shoots his white lights out of his hands. And I use my hands to push that energy into the space that I feel like I need to clean, to burn away and remove any energy that doesn't serve or anything that isn't helpful to the workings that I want to do. So for me, I typically picture the earth energy as red and the cosmic energy as white or golden, but there's really no incorrect way. It's whatever feels right for you. And then when I blow it out my hands, I really try to visualize the space that I'm in with my eyes closed and then really picture, that light and energy burning through anything that doesn't belong there. And I really try to get into all the nooks and crannies and crevices of the space, under the furniture, in the pages of the books. I really try to visualize clearing every little thing I can. Now, I was taught to do this with my windows open if it's possible, so that that energy has somewhere to go, or, all of that dust, ash, whatever you're picturing, can leave the space. I always set the intention that the energy is to be recycled and reused so that, it has a purpose as it goes back into the planet, because energy technically never goes away. But that's, again, up to you. But that's what I do with it, that it should be recycled and moved into new uses in the world. It typically takes me about 3 to 5 minutes to really sit down and visualize and picture and get the whole space, ceiling, floors, everything fully covered in that mixture of that earth and cosmic energy and really clear the space. Then once I feel like I've really done, a thorough job, I will, take a few minutes to take a few breaths, close those openings on my hands, feel sort of centered and calm in the space. I will cap my head and cap the bottom of my feet so I don't have the energy still coming in unless I need it for later workings. And it helps me stay grounded if I can sort of contain that energy within myself, but not have it always moving through me, because I'm easily ungrounded. Then, of course, there is a smoke, which is what I think is probably the most well-known and popular method, which, right now it's most typically known that you burn white sage or Palo Santo. I personally don't use those two herbs any longer, or don't purchase them any longer, because I don't feel as though it's the right herb for me to burn to cleanse space. I'm very solidly Nordic and Celtic, and so it just doesn't feel correct to use culturally. But that's, of course, my own jam, so you can do whatever you want. Now, I do make my own incense and sage sticks, but you can purchase whatever you need, of course. Many places, I think even Amazon at this point, sells saging sticks. So this is one that I made from home. Don't make fun of it, I know it's kind of ugly. But it is rosemary and lavender from my house, and then eucalyptus from a friend's house that I will burn to cleanse the space. Rosemary is a really ancient plant, actually, and though it does not originate from where I live, nor where my heritage is from, it is so thoroughly vested all over the world that it is now something that I would consider to be, fairly okay for everyone to use. Now, of course, you can make a stick like I have, where you can burn, a powdered incense that you make on a charcoal disc. Again, you can get those Amazon, everywhere, they're online, or your local witchy shop if you want to support small business. And as you burn it, you sort of visualize the same thing you were before, which is that the smoke is moving away the energy and cleansing the space of what's going on. Herbs are considered, of course, to have their own, special and relevant properties for each plant. Rosemary is very activating, very grounding, very cleansing. Lavender is very healing. Eucalyptus, again, very cleansing. So you can choose, of course, what you want to burn based on the sort of energy you want to set in the space. But really, there are plenty of kitchen spices that you can use. So again, if you don't have a rosemary plant in your backyard, or you can't afford to buy a sage stick, you can go into your cabinet, and if you have any dried rosemary, you can grind it up a little bit and burn it some, so that you have an incense if you need it to clear your space. Burning to clean a space is actually exceptionally old, because it was used in religious ceremonies for a very long time, but then and additionally, it's the original fumigation. So that idea of removing pests by smoking out your home is something that was done legitimately to try to rid a palace of like fleas and lice and things like that, or a home. I said palace because I was thinking of Versailles, but of a home, to clear the space. So smoke you can do as an incense, as a stick. You can also use your breath, of course. So if you were using that energetic clearing we were talking about, you don't have to use your hands. You could breathe out and breathe that energy out and use your breath as a cleansing of the space. Now, water is the other one that is typically used and well known. What's most often used in modern contexts is simply a spray. This is one that a friend got me, which I like, and it's almost gone. But you can make your own spray if you want to. Again, those kitchen herbs that you have in your cabinet, you can put them in some water and let them soak for a moon cycle. Strain out the herbs, put them in a spray bottle, you're good to go. You have a cleansing spray. You can also make essential oils blended with water and a little bit of alcohol as your own cleansing spray. You can also get really simple and make some salt water and sprinkle salt water around if you want to. Salt, of course, is a very cleansing, grounding mineral, and it is used often in all kinds of witches spells and protection spells. I'm not considering salt, as it is an earth element, but I'm not putting it in this video only because, though it is a cleansing aspect, it's also so powerful and it has such a protective and barrier that it can create, that I feel like it's actually a little more complex than a simple cleansing, like you would with burning some sage, burning some herbs, using a spray or doing an energetic clearing. So when I say in some of these other videos, hey, cleanse your space first, set your sacred space, that's what I'm talking about, right? Do your energetic clearing if you need to, do a spray, a smoke, whatever you may have to cleanse your space, and then do the practice that I'm then going through on the video. So it's really simple, and of course always use what you have. Like I said, tons of kitchen herbs. You can, if you've got plants in your yard or have a yard or a balcony, you can always steal things from there. You can use your breath, you can use visualization, you can use salt water. You can then, of course, always buy things if you want to and make, use some of these more nice and luxurious things. But at the end of the day, some salt water works fine. Your breath works fine. Visualizing energy coming from your hands, perfect. All of that will work. So don't go spending money you don't necessarily have or need, or don't go to a store that you don't have to go to, when you can just use your own visualization to set the energy in your space and cleanse and burn away whatever energy doesn't serve you.